Hello, hello, hello. This is Priscilla with Scylla Travel, helping you live the dream through travel. Scylla Travel is a full service travel agency, a boutique travel agency that offers premium travel planning and advisory services for the empty nester community. Those people who finally finally have the opportunity to travel the way they always have wanted to do it. I help curious travelers get the most out of their travel and their vacations by exploring more and connecting more with the local culture in destinations that they visit. So, today I'm here to talk to you about the airlines. Yes, the airlines. They're always in the back and front and side of our minds because, for the most part, if we want to travel, even domestically in the United States, unless you just love driving, flying is the way to go. So, and I'm back. I'm here to talk to you about the airlines, air travel, flights, tickets, all that jazz. I know we've seen a lot of stuff going in the news, and I said, you know what, let me just come on here live and talk about it a little bit because I'm getting an increasing number of inquiries for people wanting to book air. The problem with that is many travel advisors these days, for the most part, don't book air, at least not by itself. And I'm going to get into it with you. So there's something that got passed through the Senate, which was called the um, federal, the FAA Reauthorization Act. Okay, so the FAA, we have been in by we, I mean many in the travel space, airlines, the American Society for Travel Advisors, cruise lines. We've all been lobbying Congress for the past couple of years to make changes to the way things are going as a result of the pandemic. Because during the pandemic, it was like a nightmare. Everybody's travel got canceled, and there was no redress. It was a free for all. I just might as well just put it out there. It was a free for all. And the people that got hurt were the consumer, of course, and your travel advisors, your mom and pop travel advisors, your tour operators, your hotels, all these industries that support our community, tourism, there are real people behind them. However, the big corporations like the airlines, they basically, number one, we know they got a bailout during the pandemic, but it's things are still not back to the way that they were before. Um, the main complaints were airline cancellations, people were missing flights, getting stranded, whether that be for weather, because past the pandemic now we have severe weather, uh, pilot shortages, staff shortages, all these things that the consumer was, caught between a rock and a hard place because, you know, you miss your flight many times, you miss your vacation. And if you didn't purchase travel insurance, which I always recommend, whether you are in, doing domestic travel or whether you are doing international travel, especially if you're an empty nester, um, anyone really, but if you're 50 and up, I definitely recommend travel protection because you just never know what could happen. Just like with the pandemic, doctor's appointments, we have things that go on with our adult children, young children, grandchildren, things like that happen, and you might not be able to travel. And unless you have travel protection, your investment is lost. So that's a different topic altogether. So I want to talk about the Federal Aviation. authorities, reauthorization. Now, the Senate passed this, it still has to go through the House. Um, what it is, it was really um, to protect the consumer because they were getting the shaft with and no explanations, all of these charges, charging extra for families with young children to sit together, all these things that weren't clear in the writing. So some of these things came out of that during the pandemic. And so this was really to address some of the shortfalls or some of the things that caused travelers to suffer. So now what we have is a final rule regarding refunds. And refunds, I mean refunds of tickets. So there's some rules based on this FAA, and if it gets through the House of Representatives without any changes at all, um, it's really incomplete. And when I mean incomplete, because it seems like it's really good, it is a good thing for customers to get their refunds automatically instead of jumping through a bunch of hoops and waiting once they put their money out there and the airline does something to mess things up for them, like uh, cancellations or delays over a certain number of hours, domestic and uh, certain number of hours for international travel, and that would also impact any international airlines operating in the US. Now, it doesn't operate this rule doesn't apply to airlines operating outside of the United States. So the FAA rule talks about this refund and other consumer protections, right? So it's to it the it was meant to help people. Um, this rule is saying that consumers should be treated fairly when they don't receive a service that they paid for it, and that's only fair, right? If you pay for your ticket and you can't fly, it's not fair that you don't have your money back quickly. And everybody's going like this; they're pointing at each other, you know, who's got the money, playing that game there, whack a mole with your refund. So under this rule, US and foreign carriers, they have to provide prompt automatic refunds and ticket agents. That's another word. Ticket agents must provide prompt refunds upon request. When airlines cancel or significantly change their flights and the consumers don't accept the alternatives that are offered. So that's key. When the consumers don't accept the alternatives that are offered, many times consumers will accept it, but there's some cases where you don't want to accept it and you might want a refund. So this rule is saying that the airlines have to immediately, I believe up to 3 days, it's really not certain the timeline, have to refund the consumers money immediately. The problem with that is that the airlines aren't the ones that sell all the tickets. I wish they were. So many times people go through online travel agencies like Expedia. That's really an online travel agency. Even though it's Expedia and it's a website, it's an online travel agency. The only thing about them is they don't have customer service to help support you. It's like a DIY site. You're looking for a deal. You're doing all this stuff on your own. They're just presenting the information to you. You may or may not understand all of the fine print that, but you're on your own when you're booking through there. And it's like prepayment unless you purchase or pay extra for refundable air or refundable hotel reservations, things like that. So you have to be savvy when you're using those tools. Now that's for people who like planning their own trips. Now those people who don't, um, those people may want to hire a travel professional do that for them. Now, that's travel planning services. And yes, it is a service. And in the past, it used to be thrown in there. However, the pandemic changed that. So the majority of the industry are charging planning and concierge fees. They have different names for their fees, but it's a service. It's like any other service. And I myself charge for planning services as well because not only doing all of the planning for you. Your advisor, your agent is doing the planning for you. So you don't have to spend those hours, those countless hours sifting through mountains of data, and they're planning the vacation for you. So that's a separate topic. Now, this is how it ties back into the airlines and their ticket policies. Well, we know that the airlines don't play well with anybody. They don't play well with anybody. I mean, anybody. So 30 years or so ago, they stopped paying commission. So travel agents do not get a dime from airlines. Okay. So let me just throw that out there. So a lot of people think that it's just a glamorous job, being a travel agent. It's a business. The business has changed over the decades because travel agencies used to be those brick and mortar stores where in your neighborhood where you walked into and they had an hourly person selling you travel. That's no longer the case. So most of these travel agencies are online mom and pop travel agencies or independent travel agents working under another agent or agency. And all of everything that comes with running a business, they have to pay. So hence, well, we go back to the pandemic. What happens if you don't charge for your services and travel is canceled for 3 years straight? You have no money. So that means you have to get another job. So now that the pandemic is behind us, we hope we don't want another one. We hope that we're prepared in case some other emergency happens in travel. But that was a hard lesson. So many agencies went out of business. Many agents worked for absolutely nothing, making sure that they got their clients back home who were traveling when the pandemic happened. Those who had cancellations because companies went out of business, no one knew what to do. Um, and it was hard to get their money back because and many times some didn't get their money back or it took months to get it back because it impacted everyone. Just like any other industry, everything was shut down. Excuse me. However, the travel industry was the hardest hit because there was no travel. There were no cruising. There was no anything going on. So, unless you went to Europe, right? So, back to our final rule with the airlines, since people use travel agencies, not only just like Expedia or Booking.com or any of these other online platforms, which is really an online travel agency, you actually use human beings who are mom and pop shops. So they actually book a significant, the 60 to 70% of airline tickets. Now, going forward, a lot of that could change. It's probably going to change because of this new rule. I'm going to explain to you why. So as we talk about ticketing agents in the second line here, where it says the U.S. Department of Transportation is issuing a final rule to ensure that consumers are treated fairly when they do not receive service that they paid for or are unable or advised not to travel because of a serious communicable disease, right? The next line says, under this final rule, the U.S. and foreign air carriers must provide prompt automatic refunds, and ticket agents must provide prompt refunds upon request when airlines cancel or significantly change their flights and consumers do not accept the alternatives offered. So these ticketing agents, that's just an antiquated term for these folks who are in the middle there who sell airline tickets. Most of these people don't hang on to your money. Most of these people are mom and pop shops. Most of these people are not going to be in a position to give you an immediate refund like the airline can. So, what they've done, even though they've made this rule, they did not clarify how that's actually going to work. So, many travel agencies are not going to be selling airline tickets. we started to scale back because I personally do not sell airline tickets anymore. So if anyone contacts me about airline tickets, I felt I needed to talk about this because I get a lot of people contacting me wanting to book air only because they're thinking that I can find a better deal. No, I can't find a better deal. If you find a better deal, it's best for you to find that better deal and go directly with the airline, because if anything happens at all, that airline will deal directly with you, and if you pay them directly, your money will be refunded directly to you. If you go through another person, who knows how long that could take. And in the cases of a travel agency or a small mom and pop shop, that agency having to refund, let's say, a couple of tickets could put that agency out of business. So many agencies and agents are not going to sell until this is cleared up and clarified. They're not going to be selling. You're going to be hard pressed to find agencies or agents that sell airline tickets. Now, there may be a few out there who do bulk air. Um, it's gonna be dicey out there, but it's gonna be like, if that agency can sell in bulk, then they have some sort of relationship with an airline, because you have to be able to sell in bulk to have a relationship with them to even make it worth your while to be able to deal directly with them to get anything at all out of them. They don't pay anyone. They don't pay anyone. They don't pay anyone. They barely want to give you your money back when they mess up. So, going forward, many of your travel agents are going to encourage you to book your own air, even though booking a travel package, because now I have a trip going to France next month, and some folks elected to purchase air, but that was through the cruise line. Now, in that case, the cruise line is the ticketing agent. So they have deep pockets, they have a relationship with the airlines, they're able to provide those refunds. However, a small person like myself, it's just not feasible. So until they clarify this rule, I personally am not selling air, unless it's a part of a package like a third party. And that's probably going to be um, the case with many agents or advisors, because if they're booking, let's say, a travel package to the Caribbean, and they go through a wholesaler, we literally have thousands of suppliers that we work with to put trips together. Um, so it's all about value. Your agent, a professional agent, is not going to go to Expedia and look for your trip. That's not how that goes. We work directly with suppliers in the background. So we have relationships with the hotels, tour companies, destination management companies, um, all of these different entities, transfer services, car services, all of these different entities that we work with to put your dream vacation together. We have relationships with these folks so that we're able to provide that personalized service to you, so that in the case of my agency, I work with folks that I know are reliable and have someone available. Because of time changes, when people fly across the planet, I can't do anything from here, but the companies that I work with, I have someone on the ground that's able to assist. So now, a lot of the travel agencies may stop selling airline tickets unless it's in conjunction or part of a travel package where that person, like, let's say, or that supplier, like the cruise line or like Sandals, because they you can get air through Sandals, or like Sandals Resorts, or like Royal Caribbean, any of those big wholesalers, they have air. They have negotiated rates with the airline, so they are able to do that. Now, in some cases, uh, it's best to, a lot of cases, until this is really fleshed out, it's really good to purchase your own air anyway, because you don't want anyone between you and your refund or the airline. Because let's say that there is something that goes on, if you buy it through someone else, the airline's not going to talk to you. They're going to talk to the person who booked the ticket for you. So in case you do it online, you have no one to advocate for you at all. So what I recommend is a tool called Sky Scanner. That's tool number one, or Flight Hopper. These are two websites where you can do an analysis, you can track payments, you can put in for a search, put your destination in too, and your dates, your departure and your return date, your where you're leaving from, where you're flying to your destination, and put that information in there, and then you indicate what class you would like, economy, premium economy, or business class or first class. Now, when it comes to economy tickets, I recommend purchasing main cabin and not those basic economy because there's just too much going on with them. Main cabin, you are you do get a seat, and there is, depending on the airline, you can change your ticket if you need to. Now there are a bunch of different rules. Now under this FAA rule, they have to make those rules clear to everyone, but that's the good part about it. But the refund part, that's a little dicey right now. So until that gets cleared out and fleshed out, many agencies are not going to book air unless they have a workaround, like booking on your behalf on your airline account, and they'll make you sign some sort of waiver giving them permission to book on your behalf in your account, so that meaning your, like if you have an app, meaning your airline account on your behalf, and your information, they'll still contact you. But or book through like a large wholesaler or cruise line or something like that, where that organization or that company will be the ticketing agent. So I just wanted to come on, and I wanted to clarify something about the air because I'm getting a lot of inquiries for air, and I just don't book air. It's not one of my favorite things to do anyway. It's become so difficult. And especially now, it's just difficult. It's just better for you to book your own air. I could give you the tools that you need to track your air. There's Flight Hopper and Sky Scanner. These are two apps you can download. You can also use Google Flights to track prices. Um, with Flight Hopper, it will actually notify you when the price changes if it goes down. So you can actually track the prices, and it'll send you an email notification suggesting when you should purchase it. So those are tools that I myself use, and I recommend that you use. Everything is done by the app, but once you use them, when you decide to purchase, it'll just redirect you directly to the airline's website. And I know that prices are pretty high with air because of so many different things. When you're booking directly through the airlines these days are offering financing options. So when you go to checkout, they're also offering travel protection, which I highly recommend at any time. And they're also offering, they have financing like Affirm is one of them, and I believe Klarna is another one, but I know Affirm is one of those travel installment plans where, because of the cost of the tickets, especially if you want to fly premium economy or business class, because sometimes as we get older, we need that extra comfort. So I'm in that space right now. I need that extra comfort. It's just too uncomfortable for me to sit in economy because I'm tall, and I'm a little bit more mature than I was before. So it's uncomfortable and painful for me. So I generally fly premium economy. And if I can swing it, I will fly business class across the pond for that leg of the trip. So that's another tip. You can purchase your economy ticket or your premium economy ticket and then upgrade that leg crossing the pond, like your transatlantic flight or your trans-Pacific flight. So I book international travel. So those are options for you. That longest leg, you have an option once you purchase your ticket, at least to book main cabin now, to upgrade that segment of your trip at a later time. But 6 months before travel is the sweet spot for fares. Um, that's what I recommend. So, one more thing I want to talk about is the Good Life and Some Soul 2025 River Cruise. It's open for booking, and be sure to sign up. Tomorrow, join me for Ama Waterways Sip and Sail with co-founder Christine Karst. I will put a link in this post to join me tomorrow on YouTube or Facebook. And we're going to be talking about destinations in along the lower Danube. A sip and sail. That's Thursday, May 23rd at 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern time. That's tomorrow. And I will be adding that link to this post. So if there are any questions or any comments, please put them there and I will try to get back with you even on the replay. So that's all I really wanted to talk to you about today. I wanted to talk to you about the FAA's final rule regarding refunds. That's the U.S. Department of Transportation, and that's the FAA Reauthorization Act passed by the Senate, still has to go through the House. Just letting you know what's going on in air travel and how that impacts your ability to get a flight through a travel advisor. So, this is Priscilla with Scylla Travel. Hope that you have a great afternoon, great evening, or great morning whenever you're watching this video. And remember, if you have any questions or comments at all, reach out to me at scyllatravel.com. You could see it right there on the ticker, agent@scyllatravel.com, or go to my website, www.scyllatravel.com, and fill out a vacation request if you would like for me to help you plan your vacation. And if you have any questions at all about anything that I talked to you about today regarding the airlines and ticketing and refunds and the final rules, so on and so forth, excuse me, I can't talk. So if you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out to me by email, agent@scyllatravel.com. And remember, booking for the Soulful Epicurean Experience France 2025 is open for booking. It's a luxurious river cruise along France's Rhone River next August 2025, incorporating and celebrating Black heritage and culture in Paris and in Marseille. So there will be lots of jazz, there'll be visits to vineyards, there'll be visits to monasteries. All sorts of cultural, French cultural visits and activities as well. There'll be our normal regular French activities that we're going to be doing on this river cruise. However, we're going to be highlighting Black American and African culture in France along the Rhone and in Paris and Marseille. So this is Priscilla with Scylla Travel. Remember, sign up for the Soulful Epicurean Experience French 2025 next month. Iteration number 2, 2024 for Juneteenth, we will be sailing next month. So for those of you who are going with me, I can't wait. And for those of you who missed it this year, sign up for next year. There's room and you have time. There are payment options, low deposits, financing options, and structured payments, as much as 11 months to pay. So this is Priscilla with Scylla Travel, hoping that you have a great rest of your day, afternoon, morning, wherever whenever, and wherever you are watching this video. And remember, as always, live the dream. Bye-bye.